two dominant ones to begin with are whiskies that are either unpeated or peated. The term peated simply refers to when we're drying the barley at the start of this entire process. We either do it with hot air, which leaves it rather like nice and malty and nutty flavours, but we can also at this point add in peat smoke or turf smoke at the bottom, and this just infuses with the barley while it's wet and gives you a wonderful, rich, smoky flavour. So that's two very big dominant flavour profiles. You've got the other way of thinking, which is the lighter, sweeter styles versus the more rich, spicy styles, which is dictated to by the casks that we use. So if I go towards the lighter, sweeter styles, then that's really been dominated by American oak. So American oak contains chemicals called vanillins and lactones, and they interact with the new make spirit as it's slowly maturing, and they impart this wonderful toffee, vanilla, butter notes. And then you've got European red oak, which is like the tannins you get from red wine. It's got that lovely dryness to it, the rich, fruity, spicy notes. So they're the kind of four main areas. Royal Lochnagar is one of our smallest distilleries. In fact, it is our smallest distillery, and it's also technically our most traditional site. The spirit we make there is very light and very delicate. It has quite a long fermentation time, which means that the end spirit will be quite citric, quite fruity, and just nicely grassy and clean. And Talisker is probably one of the most unique distilleries in Scotland. A massive powerhouse of a whisky. It's got big, robust flavours. It involves peat smoke, but it's balanced out with a lot of pepperiness, a lot of sweetness, and one of the wonderful things about West Coast whiskies, a lovely salty taste to the palate. And this is all down to the location, where the saltiness comes from the atmosphere. It's so complex. It's down to the very different distillation technique. We force a process called reflux, where we make the vapour forced back into the still. We don't allow it to turn back into a liquid on the other side. We make it back into the still and constantly redistill it, and this changes the liquid to be very complex. But the Glenord distillery is our home of the Singleton. The whisky they make there is very light and grassy, but it's got a more fruity edge to it. So that is simply down to the fact of how we distill it. We take our time. We do not rush this process. We allow lots and lots of contact with the copper. The copper stills naturally extract some of the heavier compounds. We allow Glenord, the new distillate, the new mixed spirit, to have lots and lots of contact with the copper stills, which leaves them very light, very delicate, very gentle. And now the death will grow my jasmine. Ourselves, we create whisky that's very big, robust, powerful whiskies, quite diverse in flavour too, because we use peat smoke in some of our distilleries. We use different cask types, different distillation types. If I use the example and compare that to our Irish cousins, they have historically always triple distilled, whereas we distill our spirit twice and stop. They do it a third time, and that gives it a much lighter and more delicate style, because it removes some of the more heavier elements. If I then use the example of going to either Kentucky or to Japan, they have quite varying temperatures in their warehouses and around their sites, and that can sometimes cause environmental factors which cause differences in how they mature. Sometimes they can actually gain alcohol strength because the water evaporates off because of the high heat, but the alcohol stays present, which again can change the flavour profile of the final spirit.